You should not even be hearing this. The words you are about to receive are the very ones that the wealthy guard with silence. In public they smile and laugh, shrugging as if to say, I just got lucky. But if you could see their desks, their journals, their private ledgers, you would find written goals, vows, and detailed plans proving otherwise. They know the process. They follow it daily. And they rarely speak of it openly, because if every person understood this secret, competition would rise and their advantage would vanish. This message should not be free. The knowledge you are about to hear cost others decades of labor, years of persistence, fortunes lost and rebuilt. And yet here you are, about to receive it without paying a cent. Do not take this lightly. What comes without a price is too often discarded without value, But if you truly understand what I'm sharing, you will realize you have stumbled upon a formula that can allow you to create money on command. Oh, yes, you heard me correctly. Create it, not wish for it, not wait for luck to deliver it, not scrape by and hope things get better. No, but to command money as surely as you command your hand to move, your voice to speak, your feet to walk. The rich have always known this law. Money hides from the vague, but obeys the definite. When a person writes a clear decree, fuels it with burning desire, repeats it until it is burned into the subconscious, and proves it through service greater than what he is paid, the world itself begins to rearrange in his favor. New alleys appear, dias multiply, opportunities gather. To the casual observer, it looks like luck, but to the master, it is law. You may think this sounds impossible. That is why most people remain poor. They cannot believe that wealth is governed by a law, so they leave it to chance. But today I will show you what Andrew Carnegie knew, what Thomas Edison knew, what Henry Ford knew. That riches respond to definiteness, and they respond quickly. Money is already circulating in the world. It does not need to be created. It simply moves from one set of hands to another when a stronger master steps forward to command it. No, but take this warning, this is not entertainment. If you listen casually, nod in agreement, and go back to life as usual, nothing will change. You will miss the very key you came here to find. Listen as though your future depends on it, because it does. What money really is. Ask yourself right now, what is money? To the drifter, money is merely hope. To the critic, it is luck. To the worker, it is just a wage. But to the master, money is command. The man who governs his thoughts, directs his desires, serves more than he is paid, and persists long enough discovers that money can be bent to dot his will just as surely as he moves his own hand. This is the forbidden law you are about to hear. Guard your attention carefully. What you are about to receive should not be free, but it is. Do not waste it. The formula is simple, but it demands all of you. Once you know it, you will never again be able to excuse poverty or blame luck. You will know that money obeys definiteness and that you can create it on command. Money is not random. It is not a gift from fortune. It is not a game of chance. Money responds to clear direction, and it runs from indecision. It clings to the one who knows what he wants and avoids the one who merely drifts. Just as gravity pulls a stone downward, money answers to the person who writes a clear order and acts on it without hesitation. Andrew Carnegie, did not stumble into wealth. He did not simply inherit an empire. He began life in poverty, working as a boy in the iron mills, but he demanded fortune. He wrote it in his mind, carved it into his habits, and lived with a purpose that could not be shaken. Steel itself bent to his will because his aim was definite, his desire burned like fire, and his service was abundant. That is how a poor immigrant became the master of steel. Compare this to the common man who simply wishes for a better life. He prays vaguely for more money, but never gives his mind a clear instruction. He drifts, carried by the current of other men's definiteness. No? He may work until his back aches and his bones are weary, but riches avoid him because he never took command. Money does not respond to begging. It does not yield to weak wishing. There is a world of difference between the beggar who pleads and the master who decrees. The beggar waits for luck, for charity, for someone else to notice his need. The master writes a clear order, demands a result. Money does not pity weakness. It yields only to power. The four-part formula. The formula begins with desire, a burning, white-hot determination that will not take no for an answer. That desire must be backed by faith, a belief so strong it refuses doubt and crushes fear. Desire and faith must be impressed upon the subconscious through autosuggestion, the daily repetition of your decree until it becomes part of your very identity. And finally, desire, faith, and suggestion must be proven through action, because thoughts without action are stillborn. These 4 steps, desire, faith, autosuggestion, and action, form the law that bends money. They are not idle words. They are the steps by which every fortune was made, every empire built, every destiny fulfilled. You say this aloud now and carve it into your soul. I command money because I command myself. My thoughts are definite. My desire burns like fire. My faith cannot be shaken. My actions prove my words. Money obeys me because I first obey myself. The story of Edwin C. Barnes. Let me give you proof. Edwin C. Barnes had no money, no status, no influential friends. He showed up at Edison's office in worn clothes, but in his mind he carried one powerful thought. I will be Edison's partner. He didn't just hope for a job. He demanded an alliance. That definiteness marked him. Edison, being wise in human nature, saw it and gave him a chance. Barnes started at the bottom doing menial work for a tiny wage, but inwardly he carried himself like a partner. He repeated daily, I am the associate of Edison. When Edison invented the dictating machine, Barnes seized the chance that everyone else ignored. He sold it nationwide, and in doing so earned himself an actual partnership. He literally thought himself into fortune. The lesson is clear. Barnes began with nothing. No money, no connections, no education worth mentioning. But he had definiteness of purpose. He had burning desire. He had faith that refused denial. And he had persistence until opportunity appeared. Those qualities turned him into a millionaire and wrote his name into history. Would you like me to continue this transcript until completion, covering persistence, organized planning, the 6 steps, fear, decision-making, and the final call to action, so it becomes a full sentence word masterpiece ready for use as a speech, narration, or ebook? I can deliver the entire finished version in one go, no breaks, so you have the complete, polished final script. Should I proceed with the rest of the rewrite right now and acts in harmony with that demand,